Austin here, and we're back with another Showcase Saturday. And today, by popular demand, we went and chose the GHI gene. We don't have too many GHIs to show, but we got some really cool ones, so stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to start off with just a normal GHI. And the GHIs are really dark morph. It has a lot of banding, and the pattern's a little bit different than other morphs, so really cool. A lot of stuff to do with this project. Let's get straight into it. Right here we have a pastel GHI, and you can really see what I was talking about with the banding of the pattern. It really goes over the dorsal a lot and gives you a lot of speckling inside of there, especially towards the bottom. There's also a lot of flaming inside of the GHI stuff, even though there's no yellow belly inside of it yet. And when you add yellow belly, it brings in a lot of orange tones. It really makes that flaming pop that much more. Of course, this has pastel in it, so it's going to make the snake brighter. That's why we're not getting as much of the dark tones as we were with the original GHI we showed you. And this one's also double het for dreamsicle, so it's het for lavender and het for pied, which is also influencing the pattern just a little bit. It's a little bit cleaned up at the tail. We got some dragging near the end, a little bit of a dorsal stripe. Not as much as the other morphs with het pied. GHI really is a strong gene, kind of like the hurricane stuff, and just gives you a really whacked out pattern. And you can even sometimes get those bicep curls like what you're seeing right over here as the hurricane stuff. So I think adding GHI and hurricane together would be really cool to give you some wacky patterns, maybe even leopard or even confusion in there. We don't have too many of those here, so we're not gonna be able to get into those. But let's move on to the next snake. So right here we have the super pastel GHI. This one is not het for pied, but it still is het for lavender. And right away you can see a lot of those dark tones that were even had inside of the pastel GHI are all washed away now. The flaming is a lot more intense. You're getting a lot of yellows, some oranges, but still no asphalt or yellow belly in here. And you can see that in some places where you have those really nice dark flaming coming up opposed to the light flaming. All the pattern throughout is really blushed out now. You're still getting a little bit of dark tones inside of the dorsal, but nothing compared to what you're getting before. And once again, we're still having a lot of those banding over the dorsal stripe. Very typical of GHI combos, and a lot of that speckling inside too. Just the super pastel kind of cleaned it up a little bit, which is a little bit shocking to me because I noticed super pastels are a little bit more wackier than your average pastel. And if you look at this guy's head over here, you can really see how the super pastel kind of looked like an eraser and erased the middle of that head. It gave you a little bit of a head stamp, and it also gave you this really nice stripe, bright dorsal stripe around the neck. And as it goes down the snake, it kind of washes out a bit into the rest of the pattern color. But once again, this is just super pastel GHI. I really like the colors on this. I think adding Orange Dream, Enchi, Asphalt, or Yellow Belly into this, maybe even getting into the freeway stuff would be really cool for the future. Let's go move into some more combos. Here's a little bit of a weird looking one. Doesn't look like it's supposed to look, but that's because it's possible het for Monsoon. This is a Black Pastel GHI, 50% het for Monsoon. And with the way the pattern's looking, and just how different it looks from other Black Pastel GHIs, I'm pretty sure it's going to prove out. It's not too much to show you on this one because the ones you guys have are probably going to look a little bit different, but this does open the window for if you guys want to go see a het Monsoon video, comment that down below and we'll go work on that for next week. But if you look at the colors on the snake, they're really nice and dark. The GHI works really well with the dark genes, and you're still getting a little bit of that banding over, but of course the het Monsoon tends to whack out the pattern a lot more. But there's something I am going to go point out that really typical with the GHI stuff, and I like to call it bunny ears. You can see how you have these two little, almost looks like a W without the middle part. You guys are going to see a lot of that throughout these combos, so keep an eye out and let's get on to the next snake. Here we have a GHI Lesser Hypo, and I really like what GHI and Lesser do together. They give this really nice pattern, kind of like the GHI Mojaves, except you get this faded pattern along the sides, which in my opinion looks really cool. And then when you add the Hypo on top, it totally changes the colors and gives you these really nice gray and purple tones. If you look in the dorsal over here, if this was a GHI Mojave, this would be a lot more yellow, but with the Lesser, it made it a lot more creamier. And personally, in my opinion, I like GHI and Lesser together better than the GHI and the Mojaves. There's a lot of GHI Mojave combos that have already been done, not too much with the GHI Lesser, and I love the contrast and the different tones it brings in. With the Hypo inside, I really like what it did, and I want to go and add some more combos into this, maybe some more darker stuff to see if we can get this a little bit more purple, and maybe even Asphalt or Yellow Belly to go bring the flaming up the sides a little bit more and see what it could do to the side pattern. There's so many different ways to take this project. This is a really cool GHI hypo combo, and let's move into an even cooler one right now. So right here we have a GHI Black Pastel enchi hypo. We went and switched out that lesser for Black Pastel. It did something really similar to the pattern where it gave you that really nice dorsal stripe and a little bit of pattern along the sides, a little bit more than the GHI Mojave's had. And then we went and added enchi on top, which kind of took that pattern and tried blending it and banding it into the dorsal. And then went and even chained some of the dorsal pattern together and made it look really cool. I like how it's little spots around the dorsal here. And then overall went and changed the color as well. Brought a lot more of those orange and yellow tones you're seeing inside of the dorsal. And even changed the color about halfway up the snake. If you guys already know, enchi likes to give you a little bit of a golder tone halfway up the snake. You got purple and gray tones, and they move up just to a little bit more of a yellow in color as you get closer to the dorsal. And then of course with enchi you're going to get a little bit wider eye bands than the last snake. Not much of any head stamps, but a really cool hypo combo. So right over here we have a GHI Special Enchi Asphalt / Yellow Belly, and this one is also 50% het for Monsoon. So the pattern is looking a little wacky again, so it might not look like your typical Enchi GHI Special Asphalt / Yellow Belly, but there's a lot of cool things on the snake that I wanted to show you guys. Starting off with the dorsal, I really like that gold and almost silver tone in the dorsal. It really makes it pop out and stand out towards all the really dark colors inside of the snake. And then if we look at the belly, we have this really cool flaming coming up. There is asphalt or yellow belly in here, but with all the other really dark morphs inside, it's making it a little bit more harder to tell. This one's actually a possible Black Pastel, and looking at it now, I'm pretty sure it is Black Pastel as well. We have this almost dark flaming coming up from the belly. It's a little bit harder to see, but I'm pretty sure the camera's picking it up just a little bit. And then once again, we're having those bunny ears. Very typical of the GHI pattern. Got some more over here, and those are banding over the dorsal. Once again, very typical with the GHI. Anytime you add GHI to lesser, Mojave, or the Bell Complex, or even some of the dark morphs like Black Pastel and the Cinnamon, you're gonna get this really nice dorsal highlight, and the sides are usually gonna be blacked out, like what you're gonna see with the hypo stuff I'm about to show you guys. I'd love to see the Monsoon version of this, so we're definitely working towards that in the future. So right here we have a Super Pastel GHI Enchi Asphalt, and this one is actually het for Lavender Albino as well. And we're gonna get into some Lavender Albino GHI combos, but I just really like what Enchi, Pastel, Asphalt or Yellow Belly and the GHI do together. Gives you these really nice flaming up the sides, a lot of orange tones, some even red tones. It's a nice contrast from that really nice dark color you get with all the GHI stuff. And once again, we're having a lot of banding in the pattern. And the enchi's even helping out there a lot too. You know, enchi likes to band just like the GHI does. And if you look at the head over here, if he wants to show it, we're kind of getting that pastel enchi head stamp. Of course, this is super pastel, so it's going to be a lot more washed out, a lot more brighter. But overall, a really nice snake, and we'll get into the lavender combos right now. So right here we have a Pastel GHI Lavender. Sadly, this guy is deep in shed. You can see the crinkling of the skin around his neck, and even over here. That's a great indicator that your snake is inside a shed, and that's why his colors or her colors are not looking as good as they could be. But away from that, I think GHI is a great gene to add into the lavender project. It brings a lot of nice tones. You're getting these really nice intense oranges and yellows, and there's a whole bunch of different colors throughout. I also really like how GHI's pattern affects the lavenders. We're getting that nice banding with the pattern over the dorsal once again. A lot of nice holes and keyholes along the side. And then when you add the pastel into it, it really washes it out, and then it adds in a lot of highlighter colors, especially inside the lavenders. So right over here, if this wasn't in shed, you'd see these nice little yellow flaming along the sides and on the dorsal. Those are usually a highlighter yellow and really nice on the snake as well as the head. But we're gonna go and see if we can go do an update on this guy in another one. We do another lavender video in the future, so stay tuned for that. So to finish off with the GHI lavenders, we have a complete banger. This is a pastel lavender GHI asphalt enchi, and I just love the way this thing looks. We have a bunch of yellows, oranges, reds, and really deep reds too inside of this snake. But we'll start off at the head over there, and it's a little bit blushed out. That's from the pastel, and if you look at the eye stripes, a little wider and connect at the back of the head. That's from the enchi in there as well. And then when we look at the side pattern, we're getting some craziness. All that really nice orange flaming coming up the sides is from the asphalt, and I just really like how it looks. We got some that are not that intense, and then some that are really orange, almost like a tangerine, and those colors are even going into the keyholes of the bunny ears. Here we got some more of those bunny ears I was talking about earlier, those really nice orange tones inside. I think asphalt and GHI and lavender were definitely made for each other. I just like how banded the snake is as well, and that's from the GHI and enchi together. And then once again, just that really nice dorsal we have that's really bright. That's from the pastel added inside. It's a big contrast from the orange you're seeing along the sides. So a lot of really nice colors inside of the snake, and I can't wait to see where we take this in the future. Right here we have a GHI enchi clown, and I wasn't expecting this when you have GHI and enchi and clown together. Enchi clowns, as you guys already know from the clown video we did, they're very clean along the sides and usually have just a couple of stripes or even dots along the dorsal. When you add GHI, that totally whacks out the pattern. You're getting a lot of banding once again. That's totally from the GHI, because the enchis usually look something similar to this, where you're having some teardrops coming through. The GHI also brought back a lot of these dots and speckling along the sides, which looks really cool. Can't wait to go and get some lavenders, ultramellows, maybe even enhancer into this in the future. And I just really like the red tones in the dorsal. Right around here you can see you got some burgundies, almost brown reds. And then if you look at the head, this guy kind of has like a fish thing going on. If you look at it sideways, kind of looks like a fish. That's a mix between the GHI and the enchi and the clown. Enchi clowns tend to have really nice clean heads with a little bit of pinch coming into the neck. And then when you add the GHI, it brings in all those really nice colors and even widens out that head stamp a little bit. Here's a snake from my own collection. There wasn't enough GHI clowns in this video, so I thought I'd bring one out. This is a lesser spot nose GHI clown male. And I was not expecting this when you add spot nose into the GHI lesser, especially in the clown. It made the pattern really wacky. You're getting some donut holes, a lot of chaining together along the sides. Looks a lot like the spot nose clown patterns, but then when you look at the head, it looks really weird. Kind of similar to that enchi GHI clown, but we have that little dot in the head now. And just the overall colors of the snake are really cool. A lot of gray tones, you're getting some whites, and even some greenish yellows inside of the dorsal. And then of course that creamy pattern along the sides. I'm really interested to see what Yellow Belly would do in this combo, what it would do to the flaming. I like how it has that gray flaming and then it turns into that greenish yellow color at the top. But I think Yellow Belly can bring a lot more oranges, maybe even other colors into the snake. So much more to do with the GHI and clowns. And we're going to move on to the last bonus snake right now. So that's pretty much going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the showcase, but we're going to finish off with this really cool Paradox GHI clown we have here. We're not too sure exactly what it is. We think it's a pastel enchi GHI lesser, possible orange dream, possible fire clown, 100% het for hypo, and there's just so much cool paradoxing coming on this snake. The colors are totally whacked out in some places. You got these really nice creamy tones, and then you have somewhat of what the colors should look like, and then you're just getting speckling of that paradox everywhere. Some nice dots on the dorsal, and just a really cool head on this guy. So comment down below what you guys think it is and what your favorite snake was from today's Showcase Saturday. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.